All right. On to a conversation we had a couple podcasts ago that we are just surprised why in the MLS we don't have technology that gets involved with how the referees call offside. So I know we didn't really have an answer on why that was. I think maybe we read a paragraph somewhere, but it sounds like Tyson might have a little bit more insight on why the MLS is not using VAR to be more sophisticated with the way that we're deciding whether a player's on or off. Given in today's world, with a ball coming off someone's foot, you can pause the camera and get it. You can get it inch perfect. It seems like other leagues are doing it. Why is it that MLS doesn't choose to kind of follow suit with some of the bigger leagues in the world?
So I found a good article from the Inquirer. I know my mom read it.
Yes.
And just so you guys don't get copyright or anything, it's from the Inquirer.
You can tell the Chat GPT plagiarism.
Yeah,
thing
you're
is
allowed to
big.
reference.
It-
You're allowed to.
I like it.
But Mom, you can explain it.
Well, I think one of y'all talked about it earlier. You guessed it. It's because, at least what they said, is because all of our stadiums do not have enough cameras to properly do the line. And since we don't have enough cameras in all the stadiums, we can't do the offside line. Now, this was a couple years back.
That's a good excuse for like CONCACAF and like,
thank you.
You know, some island.
It's not even a good excuse for CONCACAF anymore because
have you seen the Jamaican and Trinidad stadium?
Have you seen how much a GoPro costs?
Yeah, the guy standing there. I've got another camera angle.
Yeah,
but no, I mean
that's true. You could just pay a bunch of random fans to put it on their heads, and then bam, you got a zillion angles.
With Apple TV, I figure they could figure out how to put enough cameras. So that was like and I have to say, the article was, I think a couple years back. But I don't think they're trying to do anything about it just because of this kind of idea about, it's VAR. It's assisting the referee. Yeah. The referee needs to make it. And I know there are people, I know. And they said at the time.
Do we have a button that boos you?
I wish.
Danny Rojas is all we have.
No, don't do Danny Rojas.
I'm pressing a random button. Who knows what it's going to be?
Put him in a straight jacket.
Oh.
That's cheerful.
Somebody should put a straight jacket on this.
We'll do that one. We'll do that one.
All right.
NBA Jams.
It's not quite right, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, but I think they really are just. There was some pushback originally when the line came out, if y'all remember, because you had those like really tight ones. You're like, is this soccer to call somebody off with their toes off?
Yep.
Louis Suarez.
That's why there's a rule. There's got to be instead of it being imaginary, let's make it real.
Ready? You know what the English thing? Louis Suarez, your teeth are offside.
So yes, but go ahead, Dave. All right.
Do they just not show the line on the TV replays, or do they not use it for the VAR reviews either?
They don't use it. That's what we were originally. We thought they were only showing it for the TV, and we're like, okay, that's fine. But they at least should have it. We assume that they have it, but they don't have it even in the. And the reason why we figured that out is because the controversial call with Giacomakis. He had to go over to the sideline and look in the booth, and they were talking about how he could see the grass.
Exactly.
And I'm like, really?
Right.
Because if VAR intervenes on an offside call, it should be black and white.
Yeah.
Right. It should be the computer said that, your teeth are offside.
So let's go across the pond. A lot of activity in Europe this weekend for.
You want to just keep going with Tyson first?
Yeah. Well, he wants to talk.
Tyson, you want to talk refereeing?
Oh, refereeing.
What I want to hear about is. So first of all, you can tell us a little bit, anything you want to tell us about refereeing, but I in particular, you're a referee for youth soccer, and I want to hear a bit about the madness that referees face from coaches and parents, the kinds of things you hear.
Well, nowadays, coaches don't give much of an issue because there's a known shortage of referees.
So they're just happier there.
Okay.
Basically.
All right.
And
that's good to hear.
What was the other part?
Parents.
What do you hear?
And kids.
Kids, I can deal with kids, but I need to work on not listening to parents because sometimes they just don't say the smartest thing.
But what calls do they protest the most?
Maybe throw-ins or when someone's
Throw-ins, really?
That's what I was
You
going
know
to
what it
say.
is?
It is
What's the beef with
unbelievable.
throw-ins?
I figured it out because
Okay, I wanna hear
this is the
Or
thing.
maybe when someone's using their arms, like arms and physical body, maybe.
But apparently they changed the rule for throw-in. So back in our day, I'm the old lady who's going to be like, back in our day, they had, remember, if it looked like it was twisting coming out of your hand, you're like, that's an illegal throw.
Yeah.
So put a bunch of people like us on the sidelines and then change the rule where all it has to do is come from like behind your head. So it can come twisty. It can come
Weston McKennie does that. He does the twister throw for his long throw in.
Exactly.
It's actually an illegal throw, but
right.
they don't call
got a
that.
goal from it, but he's still going down anyway.
Yeah. So you have a bunch of parents screaming, bad throw.
But this is the thing, though. But I think maybe Tyson, you can correct me wrong, but I think that the thing that you most hear complaints about is whose throwing it is, our team or their team, like which way the call is. And that is so crazy. My daughter is refereeing now too, and I've been a couple of times to watch her referee. Yeah. And the number of parents are vehemently contesting a throw in at midfield in a 7 or 9-year-old soccer game. You're like, please save it for a penalty kick call or something that's actually going to influence the game.
You know why that is?
Because they're mad.
No, it's because it's the one thing that they can actually understand about soccer.
Maybe.
That is a good point.
You know what I mean?
But even if that's true, they don't understand it, because obviously if they understood it at all, they would be like, we don't really score off those.
Yeah, but if it gives them something to be right about, if they feel like they're right, that it went off the other player and their eyeballs are correct, and that's like the one thing they can actually understand about soccer. It's the one thing they feel they've got the right to complain about.
And in youth soccer, it's like the hardest call to make, because so in professional soccer, you rarely see a case where two guys are crashing to it and it just gets the same time and it goes out of bounds. It happens, but that's a lot less because they're cleaner with the ball. In in youth soccer, that's happening all the time. And it's almost impossible to know, did it come off this or that or whatever? I mean, what I would say to referees is, watch the trajectory of the ball. So the player who's coming in whatever way, if the ball goes off that way, that probably came off them.
Yeah.
Right.
Or go with the kids. So.
Yes, that's the other thing you can do. Often they know the truth.
Yes.
And if you watch their reaction, you can be like, I've seen a lot of times the referee didn't know which way it was.
For a second.
Pause.
Pause and see what movement happens, and there you go.
Play on.
All right.
I was definitely one of those players. I didn't care. I knew it would come off my foot. I'm picking it up and throwing it. Worst case, you're just bringing it back.
Bastard.
I was a bastard, and I loved every second.
Goodness, you are one of those. You know who used to do that too?
Oh no! Who I'm about to be compared with?
I won't say.
No.
He got a lot of red cards. He was on our team last year. Now he's no longer on our team.
Leandro Gonzalez Perez.
No, that's a good one. But no.
I loved him.
He used to play Orlando. He was married to a famous woman
But
footballer.
But I think he only had two.
He would argue
red
anything.
cards.
He would argue. No, but he would argue throw-ins.
Yeah.
It would go off of him so blatantly, and he was one of those bastards who didn't care. He'd be like, "It's our throw.
I'm throwing it."
And you're like,
it
clearly hit you. You know that it hit you. And you're just crying wolf, because now the next time you go for a foul call, nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you're a referee, right, particularly in professional, where they're watching all the games week in and week out, they know the players' reputations. So you're killing your reputation as a player. Those referees watch. They know the players who, complain about things that are clearly on them or whatever, and they don't give them the benefit of the doubt anymore.